You sound great. You've always sounded great. How are you?
Look where you are.
This is our little hidey hole.
Wow. That is an
In
epic
Kilbowie.
hidey hole.
In Kilbowie.
Oh,
Yeah. There's a swimming pool. One comes to the swimming pool.
Yeah. This is an epic hideaway. So, but you made it back. You rushed. You got all the way there. That was like, it was like living this most epic journey, real life.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Where were you when you decided you needed to get home before the borders closed?
We were south of Adelaide, and they said, "Oh, you've got 3 days." Oh no! First they said, "Oh, we won't be closing the borders," and then they said, actually, we've rethought that. 3 days later, they rethought that and said, "Oh, you've got a day and a half to get there." And we're like, "We're south of Adelaide."
A day and a half.
The border from south of Adelaide is a long way, with an electric car, and there's no
chargings.
Or there's no superchargers. Superchargers work in like 20 minutes, half an hour.
Okay. Right.
And destination charges provided by hotels work in about 5 hours. And if you just use a normal house plug, you need to be there overnight.
Oh my goodness.
So we would drive to a destination charger and it would be closed, and then we'd have to go and find a showground and then plug into a normal plug, get half charged, head for another destination charger. It was just,
my goodness.
It was crazy. So for a day and a half, we slept for like 4 hours when we had to plug in at a showground.
Oh.
There's a man without a shirt on in the background.
A shirtless guy. So you made it back.
Oh, we made it back. And as soon as we got over the border, they said, "Oh, now you have 3 days to get to your region." And we were like, "We don't slow up. We're just going to keep going."
So they've totally regionalised the closing.
Yeah. We can only go.
That's why you had to keep going.
We had to keep going. We couldn't stop anywhere else. We were like, "Oh, I've got to keep going." Yeah, so we can only go as far south as Geraldton, basically, which is an hour and a half to the town.
And then now your town being smaller, do you think that there's a difference in the reaction to the virus?
Oh, well, they're quite worried about it. They think it's quite terrible, and they don't want any tourists coming up and stuff like that, because they might bring the virus. But now we're all locked down. There's only 2 cases in Geraldton. So
you might actually be quite safe in the end.
We should be quite safe, but I can't see why we can't open the... we often get people from Geraldton come up and stay, so I'm thinking, well, you could open the hotels again. Nobody's coming up from further than Geraldton. There's 2 cases in Geraldton from a cruise ship, I think.
The brought in ones. Yeah.
Brought in ones. There's no actual community spread. So, but everybody's taking it really seriously. Like there's drive-away Tai Chi and everybody's maintaining distance. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Because we're under, he's under house arrest. He just potters in and out to the bus, which is parked out the back, but he's under house arrest. So the police turned up yesterday looking for him.
I've had a friend, they came in from the UK on an emergency flight to get them home, and they've had the police knocking to make sure that they're sticking to their house as well. So they were really doing that.
Well, we have to, because now it's a small town. Everyone will know if we sneak out.
But also you might end up being opened up at least to each other sooner, to just in a few months. Do you think in a small town where the borders have been closed?
Oh, look, if the borders are closed,
enough weeks have passed.
Yeah, if the borders are closed 2 weeks, you think then we could go back to normal if we stay within our region.
To just being able to shop and be together in the one small place. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
So it's just, most of the cases are Perth and South. So, I mean,
grew up in Bunbury.
That's
there's a random fact about Anna. Well, only until I was 8. Yeah.
It's nice down there. You'll have to come back.
I would love to. I was supposed to come in June, July. There was a conference on Own Voices writing, an academic one with Own Voices focus. And I was like, that was my big way to get back to Western Australia. So I don't know if, well, obviously that's not going to happen now.
Yeah, probably not.
But that's a bit of a shame.
What month was that?
It was going to be June, July, early July, late June. I can't remember now. I'm terrible with time. And we grew up on the beach, and we had a beach on either side. And so we just were forever there, and such amazing memories of Western Australia. And we came here on the train. And so, you know, that road, it wasn't a road, it was the train line. But there's something about seeing that, even when I was 8, I'll never forget. But it's the most outback experience I've had, I think. So I live through you now.
I like all the desolation. I just like the space.
Yeah. We all know your amazing writing that you have achieved so far. And I don't do interviews because I'm crap at questions like that. But I do like to know what people are writing because I'm just a curious human. So what are you working on now?
Well, Zaina Freylon and I had started a story together, but now we're in deep despair because it was a disease story. And now we're going,
well, do it.
Well, we think we need to carry on, but we're trying to have it with a super, super hopeful ending. But we just think people will think we jumped on a giant bandwagon and we'll look like we're trying to cash in on something, but we don't. I mean, it's mostly written. It's just we need to start putting it together. And
but you see, the quality that comes out will show how long you've worked on it, probably. And also, SpecFix worked on disease forever. So it's
I put a bit of disease in Dog Runner. No, it wasn't Dog Runner. It was my next book that's coming out that I've already handed in, which has a little bit of disease in it, but that's rising sea levels, which is a concern of all coastal dwellers these days.
Yeah.
So that's called
what was this? I heard that.
This is coming out in August, and it's called Across the Risen Sea, and it's sort of a follow-on from the Dog Runner. Not the same kids, it's different.
Okay. And you write quickly. Do you think that's part of having a strong voice?
I think we get through the editing process fairly quickly. I keep asking my editors to edit me harder. I don't think they're doing it right. They keep agreeing with me. I'm like, no, be right. But for the children's books, we seem to edit fairly quickly. Like I'll show them a rough draft and they go, oh, this is pretty much there. Let's just go straight to, structural edit. And I'm like, oh, no. I don't think it's there. Yeah. So
but then they probably don't want to mess with your voice. I don't think I understood. I'd heard people talking about voice when I started writing.
Yeah.
But I don't think I really understood what that means and how that matters until I read How to Be. And I think that made such a difference to me, because I read it and I just went, oh, that's what they mean. And that's the difference. Like, because I read that in it. I couldn't put it down.
Thank you.
But now I get it.
I worked for many, many years on voice. I was like, I got to do voice. I can't, I just thought, I'm never going to get published if I just write like everybody else. I've got to do something different and be unusual, because heaps of good writers. Why should they pick me? And I'm like, oh, I'm kind of writing average. I've got to stand out. So I just worked for years and years and years trying to find a voice and try and understand what makes people connect when they read, why they feel empathy for some characters, and how to get them to believe in that character. I think mostly kids believe that Peony knows what she's doing and How to Be, and most of the adults go, oh shit, this kid's out of her depth. But the kids go, oh yeah, she knows what she's doing. She's really confident. But all the adults are going, oh, this kid's out of her depth. She's only 9. She shouldn't be out there.
And we all rush in wanting to protect them.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't think that's absolutely,
So I think adults and children get two different reading experiences from how to be.
Yeah.
So,
I had just had such respect for her and just kept thinking, I hope I would have been like her, or I hope, you don't know what you are like yourself when you're a child sometimes. Do you think though, because even though you worked really hard on voice, it sounds so natural. So do you think it was finding it, or not finding it like I found my lost self, but that courage to just write, like for me, the courage to write how you think, or to write a voice that you've always been told you shouldn't put down on paper, like we should be making the proper perfect.
Some children don't like how I screw the language up. I would prefer it to be a little bit more proper, they've told me. But I kept thinking, I'm a country kid and I grew up in the country, and then we had all this slang in New Zealand. Like when I grew up, we were pretty isolated and we just created our own slang half the time. And I was like, what can I as a person bring to a story that's different to what every other person can do? And everybody kept saying, oh, write the stories about your childhood whenever you talk about them. They're so hilarious. And I was like, I need to write a country story, but how can it be interesting? But of course, I always want to write about the future as well. So finally, it all sort of came together as like, this is my thing, country kids in the future, blah, blah, blah.
The landscape, and because my partner's from Stanthorpe and out on the farms, and just that the way that the landscape feels, it really could be now. I know it's potential future, but it just feels so realistic in that sense of place.
Yeah. Hopefully.
But thank you for writing such a strong voice and teaching me without teaching me. I feel very privileged to have been there. And I think I picked up your book because I was you're at the CBCA. I went to the awards and you weren't there.
I know.
And I remember thinking, I'm really resistant with new books. I'm a terrible one to pick up something new. I do constantly. I fight this instinct, but I'd never like it. I'd never like anything. I only want to reread my favorites, and because I'm a really reluctant reader.
Oh, no.
I'm like, but I liked you on social media, and I'm like, oh God, I'm just going to have to read the book, and I picked it up because honestly, I'm hilarious. And then I'm like, oh, that's why I read again, isn't it?
Yay, I'm glad you found something you like.
Yeah. I always do like things. It's the moment where you go in and it's the newness of it that is.
Yeah. Well, some other authors said that they hadn't picked up my book because they thought it was all hype. And I'm like, but I had no marketing budget. It came out like
but you won everything.
A year later, after it came out, I spent like the first 6 months thinking, no one's picking it up. It's a flop. And it took a whole year to gain speed and traction, and it took awards to actually get people to notice as a new writer. It was just like, oh, we don't know who she is. And
now it's in America too.
It's just arrived in America, and it's been in England about 2 years now, so they love it.
Cool. And have you thought about going over, or are you?
Yeah, I'd wanted to go over, but nobody had sort of.
Well, not now.
Airfare, but never mind. I'm not going now. Nobody had given me an airfare, so I hadn't gone. I just want to say thanks for having dark spaces in the background there. That's cool.
I do.
Along with the dog runner.
And How to Be is possibly still, because we had a bee-themed birthday for my daughter.
Oh, yay.
And so it's been floating around elsewhere. Otherwise, it's on the, they go up in age, like, in terms of the age, so the kids can come to it as their library, and they'll know how old they are, how old they want to read.
Yeah,
should be how it goes up, but some things creep in by accident, like the wildlife book. But it should go the different age zones. That's what we should say, because you do publish under 2 names.
Yeah, Cally Black. That's a YA, and that YA. probably shouldn't be on the same shelf as the dog runner.
No,
because it's a little bit more graphic. It's a little bit more graphic.
It's because you write under the 2 names and at the same time, and they both all win awards. So I just thought I'd better say that, because it's possible. And
thank you. I'm sure your new book will win awards too.
I don't know. Look, if my kids had given me a Skippy badge, I'd be happy.
No, don't ask. My kids have only just got around to reading some of them.
Yeah, my daughter's not read it. She asked for it and she left it in the bedroom, and then she didn't read it. And then I was like, I think I'll just take that copy back. But no, I'm happy for them not to read it. Thank you for coming on, and I'm glad you made it home safely, and everyone will be very glad to see you safe and sound.
In our beautiful luxury accommodation that we can't rent.
Oh no. At least you can enjoy lockdown.
Yeah, we can be locked down here. That's pretty good. Thanks for having me.
The number you have dialed has been changed.